Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Gowdy and it's Sunday night in America. Recently, there's been a lot of discussion and debate in our country about when life begins. It's been an ongoing debate for most of my lifetime, and like you, I have an opinion. My bias, my presumption is in favor of life. That comes in part from having spent a lot of time in a courtroom surrounded by death. There's nothing quite like death to make you appreciate life. And this bias in favor of life is not grounded in religion so much as it's grounded in law and logic and literature and even moral philosophy. I understand the debate and the arguments on the other side. I just don't agree with them because I'm biased towards life. And that bias towards life should extend to other areas as well. There is no debate about the origin of life when it comes to children being murdered in a Texas elementary school. There is no debate about the sanctity of life when it comes to people being slaughtered in a Buffalo, New York grocery store, or a church in downtown Charleston, or a church in California, or a concert in Las Vegas, or a nightclub in Florida, or schools in Colorado and Florida and Texas. Schools and churches were once safe havens, seemingly immune from the evils of the outside world. Those days have long since passed. Nothing is safe or immune anymore. Your place of employment is at risk. Your grocery stores, your malls, everything is seemingly at risk. When 20 children were murdered at Sandy Hook Elementary School, I knew this country would do something. I remember sitting in church as the names of those children rolled across the overhead screen, each one of them representing mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and grandparents, all sentenced to a prison of pain and anguish and grief for life. I knew this country would come together, despite our differences, to make sure elementary schools were safe. I mean, that's the least we could do, those who talk about the sanctity of life. Prove it by protecting the lives of children. And people ask me from time to time, what was the hardest day in Congress? It wasn't a vote or a committee hearing. It wasn't the other side or the media. It was the day the speaker asked me to meet with the parents of children killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School. The grief and the anguish and the pain were palpable. And I knew this great country, birthed into existence with a fundamental belief in the inalienable right to life, would come together and do something to protect the lives of children. There is no freedom, there is no pursuit of happiness without life. And yet here we are again, and again, and again, burying children. This country cured diseases no one thought curable, split an atom, and liberated and rebuilt a continent. This country sacrificed so other people oceans away would have life and be free. There is seemingly nothing we cannot do except keep children alive while simply attending elementary school. I love the freedoms we have as Americans. Those freedoms come with responsibilities for certain, but we're a nation known for our freedoms, and for that I'm grateful. But there's not a single right or freedom we currently have that will be of any use to us when we are dead. Life is the source of our freedom. Life is the source of our liberty. Life is the source of everything. There is no freedom without life. There was a quote on my desk when I was a prosecutor. One wise man asked another, what city is best to live in? And the response was this: that city in which those who are not wronged, who are not victims of crime, feel just as wrong, just as indignant, just as aggrieved as those who are. Hearing that children were killed again at school saddens every person of good conscience. But we should force ourselves to feel more than that. We should force ourselves to read the names of those children, know their names, know something about their lives, feel the pain of their parents and grandparents as best we can. So finally, maybe this country will get angry and tired and be resolved enough to stop the killing of school children. What's the best city or state or country to live in? One that feels the pain of others. One that says life is the ultimate freedom.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.